When catastrophe reshapes the world, it does not erase humanity completely. It leaves behind survivors. And survivors carry more than memories. They carry skills, habits, knowledge, and ways of seeing the world that did not begin with them. If ancient civilization experienced global resets, then history did not restart from ignorance. It restarted from fragments. Across the ancient world, the earliest post-cataclysm societies appear strangely advanced for their supposed beginnings. Agriculture emerges rapidly. Monumental architecture appears suddenly. Astronomy, mathematics, and social organization seem to arise without a long, visible period of experimentation. These developments are often described as revolutions, but revolutions imply discovery. What if they were reconstructions? Survivors of catastrophe would not resemble primitive tribes learning from scratch. They would be people who remembered a previous order, adapting what they knew to a damaged world. They would simplify, preserve essentials, and abandon what could no longer be sustained. Over time, their knowledge would be reshaped by memory, ritual, and necessity. This process leaves a distinctive signature in history. It creates civilizations that appear advanced at birth, yet limited in scope. It produces societies capable of building in stone but not metal, of aligning structures to the stars, but not recording how they learned to do so. It produces cultures that value tradition intensely, because tradition is all that remains. Many ancient societies traced their origins not to gradual development, but to founders, individuals or groups who arrived after chaos and taught people how to live again. These founders were remembered as culture bringers, lawgivers, or divine teachers. They did not invent civilization. They restored it. In Mesopotamia, early kingship was said to descend from the heavens after a flood. In Egypt, civilization was attributed to beings who taught agriculture, measurement, and order after a time of disorder. In the Andes, early builders claimed their knowledge came from ancestors who survived destruction and re-established balance. These stories differ in form, but share the same structure. Survival, transmission, rebuilding. Survivors would have faced immense challenges. Populations would be reduced, landscapes altered, familiar coastlines submerged, climate unstable. Under such conditions, preserving complex technology would be difficult. Writing might be lost. Advanced tools might become impossible to reproduce. What would survive are principles rather than products. Knowledge would become symbolic. Astronomy would be embedded in monuments. Mathematics would be encoded in proportions. Engineering would be preserved through ritualized construction methods. Over generations, the origin of this knowledge would fade, but its application would remain. This explains why ancient architecture often appears overbuilt, why structures were constructed to last thousands of years rather than decades. Survivors understood impermanence. They built against forgetting. Survivors also understood the danger of fragmentation. Knowledge spread too widely risks distortion. Knowledge kept too narrowly risks extinction. The solution was selective transmission, apprenticeship, oral teaching, sacred restriction. This was not secrecy for power alone. It was survival strategy. The earliest civilizations were not egalitarian experiments. They were structured, hierarchical, and conservative. Innovation was slow. Change was suspicious. Stability mattered more than progress. These are not traits of newly curious societies. They are traits of cultures recovering from trauma. Trauma shapes memory. Societies that have experienced collapse do not take continuity for granted. They record warnings. They tell stories of past destruction. They frame history as fragile. This worldview permeates ancient mythologies, calendars, and rituals. Time is cyclical. Ages end. Renewal follows. Survivors would not advertise their origins as remnants of a lost world. Over generations, survival would become myth. Memory would become legend. Founders would become gods. Not because they were supernatural, but because they represented a time before forgetting. Archaeology rarely finds survivors directly. It finds outcomes. Cities that appear suddenly. Knowledge that arrives fully formed. Techniques that cannot be traced back step by step. These are not proof of mystery. They are signatures of inheritance. Civilization did not rise from nothing. It rose from what remained. If this is true, then history is not missing chapters because they were never written. It is missing chapters because they were lived, destroyed, and remembered imperfectly. The survivors who rebuilt civilization did not see themselves as pioneers. They saw themselves as caretakers. Their task was not to advance the world, but to stabilize it long enough for memory to take root again. We are the descendants of that effort, and the fact that we still struggle to understand our beginnings may be the clearest sign that those survivors succeeded only partially. They rebuilt the world, but they could not rebuild the past. Subscribe to this channel for more.